This video is intended to show you how to load the data set into Excel and then how to use the simple statistical functions introduced in Lesson 1. Specifically, how to calculate the mean, the median and mode, the variance and standard deviation for data set. And to do that, I'm going to show you how to load the data set used in the lesson notes. The data set is sales volume, or SALESVOL, sales vol. Alright, we're going to open that. You'll open it from whatever directory you have your data set stored under. I have mine under AMBA and data, so I'm going to open this data set. Open. I'm going to click on open, and then follow the path to where you have your data. Mine is under AMBA5140, data, and sales vol. I have a lot of data sets. You will too by the time the semester's over. Click on the name, and there it is. We have sales. Notice we have a label in the first row showing what the data set is measuring, and I always like to check, see how many observations we have. Scroll down. Looks like including the label there are 25 observations. That means we have 24 numbers. Alright, so you have your data set loaded. Now let's look at how you can do the simple calculations. First of all, we want to calculate the mean of this series. One thing I kind of like to get in the habit of doing is, if I'm going to calculate things for a data series, I want to save them so I can refer back to them later. So let's go to an empty, and let's type in the name mean, because that's what we want to calculate. I'm later going to calculate median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. One thing you can do within Excel, if things aren't fitting in a column, for example, standard deviation's bleeding over here, you can go up, click on C, that's the column that it's in, and notice if I get right on the border there, I get a little crosshair. I can left click and pull that over and widen the column so I can see my name. Alright, now what I'm going to do is put my calculations in each of the cells beside the names. Alright, so in D2 I want to put the mean. Now I'll show you two ways to do this. One, go to formulas, and you'll see all kinds of things across here. Recently used, financial, logical. You can go to more functions, statistical, and average. Now, in Excel, what I call them is the dialog box will open up, and it'll ask you for information. And what it wants to know usually is the range of your data. So, number one, it wants to know what range your numbers are in. Well, our numbers are in A2 through A25. Notice I highlighted those and it put it into Excel. A2, and then you separate with a colon, A25. So A2 colon tells it through A25. The other way you can do it is just type A2 colon A25 in there. Notice that Excel gives you a lot of description about what it's doing. It says returns the average or arithmetic mean of its arguments, which can be the numbers or names, dot, 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 dot. And it'll give you the function result right here. The mean is going to be 237.75. Hit OK, and it fills it into the empty cell. That's one way to do things. To me, it's kind of tedious to go through all this, the more functions and all that. I'm going to delete this and show you what I like to do. Highlight the box I'm going to put it in. Go up here, see the F of X where it says insert function. Click on that button. you'll get a dialog box and it'll ask you what you're looking for. One choice here is what kind of function you want statistical. Click on statistical. That'll come up from now on. And then in alphabetical order, it'll have all the statistical functions that you can access using Excel. You want average. So highlight average, hit OK. Again, it wants the range. I know it's in A2 through A25. So I type in A2 colon A25, hit OK, and I have my 237.75. Again, I found the mean. Now, essentially you're just doing the same thing for each of these different functions. If I want the median, let's go to f of x. I already pulled up statistical, so that should still be there. Now I just want median. Scroll down, it's going to be in the M's. There's median, highlight it, click OK. It wants to know the range of numbers again, A2, A25. Notice I'm leaving A1 out because there's a label in that row. If you put in A1, it'll give you an error message. And the median, as we calculated, is 233. The next one I want to do is the mode. We're going to do it exactly the same way. These are very simple. Once you do one of them, they all kind of look alike. Let's see. I want to do the mode. So, f of x, statistical, mode, 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 highlight it. Okay. You're going to have to give it the range of data, A2, A25. 228 is the mode. That's the number most occurring in the data. I want the variance. Very simple. Click on the open box. Insert function. Statistical still there. Variance is going to be down there at the bottom in the V's. VAR. Doesn't say variance, just VAR. Var. Notice it tells you estimates the variance. Okay. Still A2 to A25. Okay. 422.3696. One more. I want the standard deviation. Show you two ways to do that. We'll let you see something first in the function standard deviation. Let's go down to the S's. Notice it doesn't say standard deviation, it says STDEV, standard deviation. Estimate standard deviation based on a sample. Okay. A2 to A25. Hit OK. And you have your standard deviation of 20.55. Now that's how you can do it with the functions. If you already have the variance, I can calculate standard deviation another way. It'll let you see how to do a formula on your own within Excel. Click on the empty box there. I know that the standard deviation is just the square root of this variance. Let's do a square root. I click on the open box. I can type into that box a function of my own. Always start a function with equal. And what is it? It's the square root of the number up in cell D5. Well, square root in Excel is SQRT. Notice Excel helps you by saying returns the square root of a number. Open parentheses. Now you have to tell it what cell you want to take the square root of. I want to take the square root of D5. Close parentheses, hit enter, and you have 20.55. Let's suppose that I wanted to take the sum of all the numbers from A2 to A25. So, how would I do that? Well, do a function. Equal sum from, open parentheses, A2 colon through A25. Enter. And there's the sum of all those numbers. If for some reason I wanted sales squared, and I wanted to work with the series sales squared, how would I do that? Well, let's go out and put a new label in. I'm going to call it sales squared SQ. Well, the first number is going to be A2 squared. So I use equal A2 times in Excel is star. So shift 8 star A2. A2 times A2 is A2 squared. Hit enter. And I have the number squared. Now I don't have to go down through here and do that 23 more times. What you can do is highlight the box that you put that formula into, and notice it shows you the formula up here on the formula bar. If you look at the box, there's a little dot down here in the lower right corner. Put the crosshair right on that dot, left click, and drag. It'll pull that formula down through all the succeeding cells, and it'll update all the way down. So for example, if you're in the 15th row, it now says A15 times A15. It updates your formula as you pull it down. So it's a very handy function within Excel. You can create new data with your own functions, and sometimes that's handy. Alright, so what we've learned to do is load our data set, use the insert function to calculate mean, median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. And we've learned that to do some simple functions of our own, we always start with an equal sign, and then we can type in whatever mathematical formula we want.